Security or closeness to the citizens? The fatal knife attack on Tory MP Sir David Amess sparked a debate in Britain about the relationship between democracy and the threat posed by assassins. As the police announced last week's Saturday night, the investigators are now assuming a terrorist background and they are charging him now. But the case caused great concern across the country. Amess was stabbed to death by an assailant last week's Friday during a citizen's surgery in his Essex constituency. A 25-year-old man was arrested at the scene on suspicion of murder and now charged. First investigations have shown a possible motivation in connection with Islamist extremism, according to the police report. The investigators assume a lone perpetrator, and as the PA news agency reported, citing security circles, the suspect is said to be a British man of Somali origin. House of Commons Speaker Lindsay Hoyle called for a debate on the safety of politicians, but it was essential that the MPs could maintain their relationships with the citizens, said Hoyle in the BBC last week. He himself had therefore held his office hours even after the attack on Amess. We have to make sure that democracy survives, he said. Amess party colleague Tobias Ellwood, known for his courageous first aid after a terrorist attack on Parliament in 2017, called on Saturday, however, to temporarily suspend physical meetings of members of the public. Interior Minister Priti Patel, who ordered an immediate security clearance, described the attack as an attack on democracy. She advocated a new balance between the democratic process and the security of MPs. We cannot be intimidated by an individual or a motive into stopping functioning, serving our chosen democracy, said Patel on Sky News last week. And Cologne's Lord Mayor Henriette Reker, she's an independent, who herself was the victim of a knife attack in 2015, was shocked. That's terrible news from the United Kingdom, she said. The cowardly murder of David Amess affects me personally. In Europe, all Democrats must stand together against hatred and violence, wrote Reker on Twitter. And Prime Minister Boris Johnson visited the crime scene in the southeast English coastal town of Leigh-on-Sea last week Saturday, and TV images showed how the Prime Minister and Conservative Party leader laid a wreath at the Methodist Church, which became the scene of the knife attack on Amess on Friday. He was accompanied by the head of the opposition, Keir Starmer of the Labour Party. I know I reported on this before, but it is an important topic because we can't allow this to endanger our democracy. MPs who are all directly elected in their constituencies offer regular consultation hours with citizens, which can also be attended at short notice. The so-called surgeries are usually held once a week and are an important part of democratic culture in Britain. Labour MP Joe Cox was also murdered by a right-wing extremist during a public consultation in 2016. The attack occurred just a few weeks before the Brexit referendum. Amess leaves behind a wife and 5 children. The devout Catholic from a working-class family was considered an arch-conservative Brexit supporter who campaigned against the right to abortion and for animal rights. But no matter his political part, that doesn't matter in this case. He was also a staunch opponent of fox hunting. Amess sat for the Tories in the British Parliament since 1983, first for the constituency of Basildon and later for South and West. He was an ardent supporter of the Iron Lady Margaret Thatcher. In 2015, he was knighted. In a book published last year, Amess complained about how the increased security since the murder of Cox was making the great British tradition of meeting citizens more difficult. We all like to make ourselves available to the residents of our constituencies and often deal with people with mental health problems. It could affect any of us, said Amess at the time. Here in Germany, as you heard from Henriette Reker too, there have been fatal attacks on politicians, however, increasingly from the right-wing extremist spectrum like Cox. In general, threats against politicians and acts of violence in real life have increased due to the brutalization of morals on the internet. And threats on the internet, I get tons of those, but I'm not as important as an MP, so I still think we have to fight for our democracy. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.